Hello everyone, this is Shadow Dragon back with another episode of DC Universe Online. So this video is going to go over the default chat channels that we have. So it's a bit of a different type of video than my others, but wanted to do one about chat because I see a lot of people not using them in the right way. As in, like, you're in a new zone and people are using the wrong chats to ask people to phase because they're already in the same phase. So I just wanted to go over like all the default chats, and we'll start with the smallest one. So when you first log on to the game, it is going to put you in say chat, and this is like the proximity based one. So it does have like a radius to it. I don't know how far it goes, but I know it's not that far. So we're going to take a look at that now. So on Teal'c, I am tracking Sylvia on the map. So she's going to say test. And I'm just going to move her a little bit further. So you could see now she's, I think that's 40 feet. And it still works. So it's probably 50. Let me move her 2 feet forward. No, 50 does not work. Okay, it's 40 feet. Now let me just check if I want to check if it's considering the x-axis as well. So I'm going to put her on a different floor. Okay, so it does consider height as well. So if someone is 40 feet above you, or over 40 feet, they're not going to get this. Okay, so that is the say chat. The next one is shout. And what shout does is it's for the entire zone. So if you're in Metropolis, shout should reach all of Metropolis. However, it's only for the phase you're in. This goes for say also. Like, say is also phase based, obviously, because the other person won't even be trackable. Like, you won't even see the distance on them. So you could see she's at 258 now, and it still works. And now she's all the way at the other end of the league hall. So yeah, one of the mistakes I see is people using shout and asking people to phase. Now, that's only going to hit people in your phase already, so when they phase with you, it's going to say you're already in the same phase. So you just use shout to only reach the zone that you're, or zone and phase that you're already in. Group is global, but you must be grouped with the person, so they could be in a completely different zone. And let me just teleport her home. So as Sylvia loads in the other zone, her name grays out. But you can see if she types into group, it still shows up. So group it's independent of the zone and as well as phase. She could be in a different phase as me and I would still get it. League is kind of like group. It's independent of phase, independent of zone. You just have to be in the same league. And you should see all of those. Oh, something I should note about group though. You do lose the group messages if you're in a zone and then one of you warps out to somewhere else. Typically this happens at the end of an instance. Like you'll type a sentence and then the person will respond, but then if you warp out before they respond, you're not going to get that message. So keep that in mind. Like if you're grouped with somebody and you ask a question at the end of the instance, don't leave until you get an answer, because if you leave and they answer, you could lose like 1 or 2 lines there, and you might just have to ask again just to make sure. I think that's probably just the system like kind of taking you out of the instance. I'm not sure if it happens from zone to zone, but it definitely happens when you're coming out of an instance. So we got group, we got league. Trade is one I actually don't use because I just use the broker to regulate trades. I only trade with people I actually know. But the trade chat, trade and LFG are the same as far as like what they reach. Both of those are global, so no matter where you are, you can pull up trade or LFG and you'll see the same text as anyone else. And that's of course also cross phase. So that's why when you ask people to phase, it should be in LFG. So that way people could actually phase with you. Okay, so next up is the versus chat. And this is the only one that's cross-faction. So as you can see here, Cryogenics and Cyvac are on different factions. So if Cryo says something in versus next to me, it shows up. And there is no distance limit, so I'm going to put her on the other side of the hall. Now this works just like shout, so it'll cover the entire zone that you're in. So she's now on the other side. I can't track the distance, but that's about like 390 feet. And it still shows up. So it's pretty much the same as shout, except it's cross-faction, and that also means it's only in the current phase. So if you're on one side, you won't be able to use any of these custom chats to reach the opposite faction, like in a different zone or even different phase. So versus and shout are actually the two I see misused the most when people are trying to call others for bounties, because they're asking people to phase with them, but if you're using shout or versus, you're already in the same phase. Like you're not actually reaching anyone else, and you're not gonna get anyone. So that's definitely important to note. Okay, so the last type of the last channel is a custom one where you just kind of make up a name for yourself, or just make up a name for a channel, and you just share it with friends, and that will act as a global, and it will cross phase as well as cross factions. So that's sort of the only way for someone on one faction to reach the other faction in a different phase and different zone. But when you create a custom channel, you're going to want to choose something that like only you and your friends would know, or you're going to want to like put some kind of unique serial number or special characters, because if you choose a common term and a whole bunch of other people choose the same term, you're going to be in the same chat. There's no regulation, and there's also no ownership. So yeah, if you create a custom chat and someone else makes the same one, there's no owner. It's just out there. So that's something I hope they change in the future, because one of the good uses of custom chat is if you're in a league that's kind of in both factions, which actually would be two leagues, but organized by the same people. The only way for you to talk to each other is through a custom chat. So it would be cool if that was owned by like a league or a person, rather than just floating out there in the public. Okay, well that's it. The main point of this is that just wanted to show you which chats work in phase, so that way you're not calling out for no reason. And this should help you out with just forming bounty groups in the DLC zones. Alright, that's it from here. Thanks for watching.